Welcome to the With Love Your Mental Health podcast.
Hello. Welcome to episode 4. Today we are going to be talking about holiday blues part 1. But first, we will go into our emotional wheel. And today, the two emotions that I am feeling are content but uncomfortable. So, I recently just had eye surgery, see no more glasses. So, thank God everything went well, but I have to still just get used to not wearing glasses. I'm still healing from surgery and just all of the things that come with that. But I'm content because I can see. So we are grateful for that. How are you feeling, Janice?
Today, I am feeling excited, but a little anxious. So I graduated from University of Maryland Eastern Shore, 2016. So I feel like I've been back for homecoming maybe once,
Hmm.
in the last 9 years, but homecoming is this weekend, and I decided to go.
Oh,
So I'm very excited, but I'm anxious because, like I said, I haven't been there in a while, haven't seen anyone really other than like social people on social media, haven't really been up there. So I'm excited but anxious to just be back on the
mhm.
campus, where it all started, like where I
Yeah.
became an adult really. I mean, I saw posts recently, I guess people are like, why are adults so excited about going to college activities? But I really explain it like homecoming is the family reunion for the family that you created.
Yeah.
So sometimes we're excited. Like we just had our family reunion cruise, and it was such a great time. But in family, sometimes it's people that you care for more than others, and
Yeah.
things like that. But with this, it's like, of course, there's a large campus, so there might be people you don't like also, but it's really the family and the friends that you created.
Yeah.
While you are becoming an adult. So the people that you cried with, the people that you just transitioned into an adult with, the people that
Yeah.
you learned with, the people that you ate with, people that you learned to cook with, your relationships, all of the things. Um, so yeah, I'm very excited to just go back and see all the people and everything like that. And I think that kind of transitions into like what we're talking about today too, of holiday blues.
Hmm.
Sometimes we during the holiday season it's hard for people. You're around people that you haven't seen in a long time, people that you just have might be a good relationship with, maybe a bad relationship. So we're going to talk about that today because we do know it can be a difficult thing. So like we said, holiday blues, and or the topic is holiday blues, but holiday blues refers to like the feeling of sadness,
Yeah.
stress, loneliness, fatigue, anything like that. And usually people experience it between November and early January.
Mm.
So it's kind of similar to like seasonal depression and stuff like that, but it's different because it's a shorter period of time, and also it's not like a clinical diagnosis.
Correct.
So seasonal depression, that is an actual clinical diagnosis that
Mm.
lasts longer, whereas holiday blues really is just around the holidays.
Yeah.
Um, so people talk about like the factors or things that contribute to or trigger, these kind of feelings about holiday blues. And one of them is like just the increased stress. So like you're planning for the gifts and the family dinners and the traveling. You got to remember the social expectations. So you going to grandma's house, you got to take your shoes off. Everybody got to have matching socks. Like the socks got to be clean. Make sure so just remembering all those things, or like the loneliness and grief. So remembering now everybody that died this year, everyone who's
Yeah.
not going to be here that was there last year, or the
Or yesterday.
relationships. Maybe they didn't physically die, but like the relationships have changed.
Hmm.
So now you have to, face that. Sometimes the unrealistic expectation. So, everyone's getting their matching pajamas and you single again. And it's a reminder now because everybody about to be posting their pictures and all the
Hmm.
things, and the kissing under the mistletoe, and what
Yeah.
Hulu and Netflix, everybody got their holiday movies on, and you
Hallmark
just here.
channel
Yeah, you just here. I'm just
going.
looking at me and me looking like it's just us.
Yeah.
Or just a change of routine. Like we're not gonna get the sleeping is changing. We have like daylight savings, all of those things. So, your routine has changed. A lot more days off. So now more days with your kids, days with your husband, your wife, whoever, maybe more days alone.
Yeah.
So all of those things kind of impact just your emotions during this cycle or this time, and those are some things that kind of trigger holiday blues.
Two, I wanted to add too, which is something to think about on top of everything that's going on politically right now. Like that is like, as you were saying, and I'm like, and the time that we're having right now, like where this is a terrible time for a lot of people. So it's, but you as the individual have to decide, like the short answer to all of it is like, what can I handle? So if it's the financial part, it's that I'm not, everybody will, my presence will be a present this year. Okay. That's what it'll be like. Or I can do DIY stuff. I can do memorable things. I can take pictures. You can print pictures for what, $1? You know what I mean? And get some from the Dollar Tree. Here you go. Merry Christmas. This is the gift, or not. You know what I mean? Like you have to figure out like, what can you tolerate this upcoming season? So that goes with all of that.
Yeah, and they have said that 64% of people report feeling some type of holiday blues during this time.
Yeah.
So just remember that too when you're interacting with others, if it's
Mhm.
not something that you're experiencing yourself. But like
Yeah.
I think you bring up a good point of sometimes we have to do better at learning how to transition or just move with the times. Like I remember I was talking to one of my students recently, and she's like, my daughter's birthday's coming up,
Mhm.
but they cutting off my food stamps. Like I don't know what I'm supposed to do. They want me, or the school is asking, like, am I going to bring in cupcakes? I'm like, so maybe this season you don't bring in cupcakes. Maybe you get a box and you and your daughter, y'all make cupcakes in the house, and this is the birthday party, the cake, and the activities that we have these 2 eggs, this milk, whatever, and this box of cupcakes, and this is what we're doing. Because I think it's important, and we talk about it a lot with coping too, but to
Mhm.
just have different activities or skills based on where you are financially, based on like the time that you have. Sometimes you have leave and you could take a week-long vacation.
Mhm.
Sometimes you stress and you only got 30 seconds. So you got
Yeah.
to know what to do based
Exactly.
on the time that you have, the money that you have, the people that you have, and your mental stability can't be based on one thing. Like you
Yeah.
got to have something for like all areas, because we just never know what could happen.
We never know what happened. And the ongoing thing, what we've said in like all these episodes, is you have to know how you're feeling. So if you know, and I mean, for an adult, even for teenagers at some points, around the holiday time, for me, I become stressed. Or some people become really excited. I've been seeing all the posts on like, okay, what's today? Today's like the 2nd. From the 31st, Halloween, everybody's like, tomorrow, November 1st, Merry Christmas. Some people get really excited. And it's not always about the gifts, because all the like adults I know that are excited about Christmas, it's not about gifts. Like it's about, like we said, the movies. It's about like the activities. It's the things that they do. And some people just like having a tree, like whatever it is. But you have to figure out what your replacement looks like. So if it is that I always have gifts and this and this and all of this, or if I'm trying to keep up with the social media Joneses, which we do not recommend, then it's replacing it. It's replacing it with what I can be grateful for, or the things that I can, like, what, again, my presence is a present. I know it's funny, but I'm serious. Like, I'm very serious, because once you have life, anything is possible. So if we start with being grateful for that, then we could go from there, because it's not about the material things and the whatever. And we're supposed to be boycotting everything anyway. It's supposed to
Very
be.
true.
It's supposed, so they say.
No, and I think you bring up a good point too, because I think about maybe those people who are further along in their mental health journey. So even for myself, like being able to think like, what does Christmas represent for you, like the holiday time? So why is it that this time makes you so excited? For me, I think I like hope and just like love and all of those things. So I've noticed, or now that you say that, I noticed that I do like the Christmas movies. But I found a way to put that love and that hope and that joy throughout the year. So I find myself watching more like romantic movies and stuff like that throughout the whole year versus just at Christmas time. Like granted, Christmas time, it is about Christmas, but I will watch more of those hopeful movies just throughout the year. And it has like made me feel better compared to watching like BMF and everything, and everybody dying and getting shot and all the things. But just like paying attention to
What you're feeding
why,
yourself.
for those who do get excited, why does it excite you, and how can you make that happen more times than just once a year?
Yeah, agreed. Because it's really what you feed yourself. Because there was a time, even for me personally, like, I'm a criminal justice major, so like the way of that thinking always, and I feel like it always will fascinate me. But I have noticed, like, there earlier I was watching the ID channel and I really just felt my mood just going like this. Like and I don't know if it's because part of it is like when I'm watching these things, my brain is really not off and I'm thinking like, well, what made them make that decision? So then it's like it's not enjoyable. But it's the same thing. It's what you watch, it's what you put on your algorithm. We've talked about changing your algorithm. Like if you see a bunch of stuff about, oh, this is a problem, everyone is expecting this from me and I'm having these negative feelings and stuff, that you're going to take it on. You're going to start to assimilate those things, so it's going to bring you down. So again, it's the replacements. It's the replacements. But that is a good idea what you're saying about like making it an all year round thing, because that is what a lot of these Christmas movies and stuff is about. It's about I mean, it's so cheesy. I mean, it's cute, but they're so cheesy because it's like the Christmas wish of this and that. And
they're all the same movie at this point. It's just different people. It's the same thing happens.
But it's the same theme. And it's, again, like this happy ending and stuff like that, which you would expect from movies and stuff, but it's just, it just does something. It does something to you. I watch them, but I know there's a couple of you, like my cousins, that are very obsessed. Like they cannot wait for the Christmas time. So, but it's good though, because, and like you said, I think the biggest part of what you said is, what does it mean to you? Not what it means to your algorithm, not what it means to, what other people have to say, what it means to you. Because if you just go with the majority and you're unhappy, you're just going to be unhappy.
Mm-hmm. I think about the people that's in survival mode and stuff too, though.
Yeah.
Like, I think, like, we weren't meant to be like that. So part of it is that, like, we do crave hope and peace and joy, and I think that's what Christmas represents. And I guess it's also a time where it's acceptable despite your circumstances to be happy. So again, just figuring out how you can translate that to the rest of the year versus just this 1 month. Because even like the Christmas tree, people talk about the Christmas tree. I know it's November 2nd. Some people already have their Christmas tree up. It's a fake tree. What does it really represent? Like really digging deeper to figure out like what it represents and how can you, decorate your house or whatever. Like, so it's like this on a regular basis, like whatever energy that you're getting because this tree is up, like how can you maintain this year long?
And some people, I can tell you how some people do it. Some people leave the tree up for a long time.
Yeah, I saw that last year. Like people just changed the tree. Like there was a 4th of July tree. There was a Black History Month tree. And if it works for you, it works. Like whatever makes you happy. But I think it's just something to think about.
I had a client that did that, and it was to the point where I noticed when the tree was down. I was like, your tree is not, like, because she would sit in front of it, and she's like, yeah, my husband made me take it down. But it was up for a long time. So, but that's what makes her happy, and her kids are adults. Again, it's not about the gift giving and the this and the that. And it's a lot of, now that I'm thinking about it and really talking about it, it's really, I don't really see that a lot. I don't see, like, it's not a thing of like what gifts I can get. It's really about like spending the time. And again, figuring out what it means. So yeah, I mean, as an adult, I don't know. I mean, I have a pink Christmas tree. I'm very pressed about that tree. So that's what I like. But I'm not putting it up this year because I'm not going to be home, but we're getting a tree, but it's really just about like the time spending. So, and I haven't asked for anything. Maybe I should, maybe I need to make it.
Yeah.
No, but, yeah, it's just like, you have to figure out what it means to you, like you said.
Yeah, I definitely think the time is important because I even think about Thanksgiving, like the Thanksgiving we came by you guys. And like I do remember like one night we did have tacos and those tacos are great. But the actual like Thanksgiving dinner menu, I really don't remember it. But I just remember like the laugh and the fun and the games and the dancing, the music. Like that's the memory. I remember how it made me feel.
Karaoke, can't forget.
Yeah, it's like all of karaoke was so much fun. Oh my gosh. But yes, I remember all of those things. And I think that's what like the holiday represents. And I would say that I feel very fortunate that I am in a place where like we are able to spend time with each other more than just Christmas. Like we just had a great summer together on the cruise as well as St. John Carnival, planning things for maybe March. Even with my daughter, like being able to take her around different family members and like make that something that's just not like once a year. But I do also want us to talk about like those people who don't have like those positive experiences, or like, you know, they've experienced trauma and pain and hurt at the hands of some of these family members that they're now going to be around. So
Yeah.
like, what would you say, or how would you help them navigate that, or like, what advice would you have for them?
So the first part of it, for what you said, is like that they're going to be around. I think the first part is deciding if you need to be around, which is not, anything that we're about to talk about is not going to be an easy choice. And it might result in a little bit of loneliness, but sometimes like you have to weigh your options as an individual. Nobody can tell you what you should or shouldn't do, or how you should or shouldn't feel. Because the other part of it too is like I have this conversation a lot, and of course, as we're approaching the holidays, like I've been working. Let's say I have clients that I've been working with all year about setting boundaries with the family. Now the holidays are coming up, and they, in their strength, had decided I'm not going to anything. I'm not going to Thanksgiving or Christmas. So now what? So, and what I say is, for some people have invitations from other people's family, and sometimes the initial reaction is like, well, that's not my family. And I'm like, but it's not always that but it is your family because you have an invitation. Because if it wasn't, these aren't invitations out of pity. These are invitations because these are people that want you around. It's not everybody's family who, like we said, is as fortunate as us, where that's who I think about. That's what I like. Okay, well, what are we going to do? Or like, again, what games are we going to play? What things can I plan for? And I want these people around me. Not everybody has that, but you may have it in a friend. So if you have that, then take it. If you have it, then take it. But then the other part of it too is don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to ask, because even the Thanksgiving you were here, I had a friend here. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like don't be afraid to ask as well. But for those who are going and have to deal, okay, let's get into that, because that I feel like there's a lot of layers of that. So the biggest part of it is if I am deciding to go, I am being mindful. Remember, the mindfulness is, I might say that every episode, because if you do not know how you feel, I mean, there's so many negative things that could come from that, because I don't know what's triggering me. I don't know what's going to bother me. I don't know what boundaries I'm setting. I'm just walking in like just open, and family is inappropriate. It's nothing more inappropriate than walking in. If I had a boyfriend last year, and that we haven't been together since the last time, and you ask me where he is, now what I'm supposed to say to that? Like, it's just even those tiny little things that, like, that's where it starts. So if I know that's what I'm gonna be approaching, and if I know how to smile and like, come on, better, what's happening, and I can laugh it off and go about it, then cool. But if I know that question is going to set me off, maybe I need to figure out something else, and it's not.
I think.
Go ahead.
I think that's a big part of it, like having clear expectations.
Yes.
I think don't go into it expecting the holiday movie that your family's not there yet.
Especially
The unhealed auntie that don't know what to say out her mouth, expect her to be that unhealed auntie that don't know what to say out her mouth. Don't think like, oh, she's not going to say anything, because then you're setting yourself up for failure. So go into it with a realistic idea of what it's going to be like, and determine based on that if you can handle it. And if you can't handle it, what is your escape route? So is there one person that could go with you that like y'all texting is like, all right, I got about 5 more minutes in me, then we got to go. Or, are you going to have your Uber? Are you going to download Uber on your phone in case your ride isn't ready when you're ready? Like, really, like, one, have your escape route, have some type of support system, and have a very realistic expectation of what you're walking into. I think sometimes we set ourselves up by expecting someone to be someone that we know that they're not.
Yeah, especially if you are working on yourself. If you are working on yourself, please understand that is between you and you. That is between you and your therapist and whoever you're working on yourself with. That is not you. This is about the individual and controlling your reaction. You're not, again, the auntie or grandma or whoever is going to say whatever they want. You get to decide how you react to that. Is the holiday, is the time where everybody comes in from everywhere, or maybe I'm from a family that we really only see each other at Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatever. Is this little thing going to outweigh? So just the same way I make the decision, is all of these things going to outweigh, and what does it mean to me if I'm deciding to go? How I'm gonna, I get to pick what I get to ignore. It's attending and ignoring. I get to attend to what I want to attend to and engage in what I want to engage in. I can ignore what I don't want to answer, or change the subject or whatever. But a lot of that, again, you got to set your expectations. So, because some people, they're not going to change. They're not going to change as far as you can see. So that can't be your focus. Your focus has to be on yourself.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of healing too, like remembering that it's just you. You can't control other people. This
Yeah.
probably isn't the time to have any kind of deep conversation, or even like you have to know that you're healing, and regardless of what they say or what they see, like, oh, well, you still drinking? I thought you stopped drinking, and why you got the wine in your hand? Like, you know your journey, you know what you have achieved, what you're going through. So also don't go seeking like validation, like, oh, they're going to see my big change or anything like that. Just go and be your best self, the best person that you can be that day based on what's going on, and really don't have expectations for anybody else. But again, have your escape route.
Yeah.
Like even like we talked about earlier with homecoming and how I was saying, I feel anxious but excited. I already told Kiana, like, it's on Saturday, be by your phone because I don't know what's about to happen. And I think I'm going to drive because when I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what's going to happen, what I'm going to remember, because I really don't even remember college, guys. Like, it was such a long time ago. And like Kiana says, I've just done so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have my escape route. I have my skills or just tools in place and ready in my toolbox for whatever.
Yep. That's how you have to have it. That's really how it has to be. And I also feel like, I don't know. And because again, it still goes back to the weighing and the pros and the cons, because me personally, I can't relate to that, to like a lot of people that I speak to, that families would just be terrible. Like, I mean, just to the point of like the gaslighting, oh, that didn't happen. Oh no, what do you mean by that? Like that, I can't really I mean, I can imagine, because of course I've been gaslit, but my boundaries are really strong. So when I see that you're playing this game, I just remove myself. But I can't imagine it for a whole entire group of people that is supposed to be my safe space. But again, like Janice said, if that is what you guys are supposed to be like this, and it's supposed to be like that, I'm going to be stuck. I'm going to be stuck fighting, and I'm really not going to get to enjoy the holiday. I'm going to traumatize myself more versus recognizing what it is and going for what I get out of it, not for what anyone else gets out of it. So that's a big part. And it's a decision. And also understanding that if people, like, if you are struggling with the holidays and stuff like that, and you make a decision to spend it by yourself or not spend it with like the family that you came from, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever anyone else has to say about it is really not your problem.
Yeah.
You cannot, I mean, you can't just in general live your life like depending on how somebody else is going to feel. Like if I'm going to disappoint this person or that person, you just generally can't live your life like that. But you really, around this time when like things in general are so vulnerable, you can't make a decision based off of that. So.
And I also want to encourage people, like, just because you're not with your family doesn't mean the holidays have to be horrible. So I do want to encourage you, like, if you have the expectations of what the holidays should be like, create that. If it's you and your dog, you and your best friend, you like find someone to create the memories and the emotions, the feelings that you think it should be like. If you feel like one of your best friends has a great holiday every year, ask if you could come over. If you have a friend who they have a rough relationship with their parents or their family, invite them over. Like I said, we are very grateful that we have pretty good relationships with our families, but we have to be mindful that everybody does not. So really pay attention around this time to your friends, especially the ones that that they don't have the best relationship. Try to invite them over. They do Friendsgiving and all of the things. Create the new memories. Like, don't spend the time dwelling on the life that you wish you had. Create the life that you want. Like, you still have power. It might not be what you wanted in terms of being with your biological family, but it can still be a great experience.
Yeah. And I do like the Friendsgiving thing. Like, I love to see that. And it's funny because I have a huge friend, like Thanksgiving, we have a huge one, like for most of the time, but I don't have, at least here, I don't have that, like where I have that group of friends where I would do Friendsgiving. So it's like sometimes you have one, sometimes you have the other, sometimes you have both, but you like I do like that just in society in general. That is the one good thing I've enjoyed is like Friendsgiving, like even Galentine's, little things like that, where if I don't have whatever society or whatever is just the norm in society, right? I make it my own. But everything I said and everything Janice has said applies to that. So if I have neither, it's still, you know what I mean? Like I'm still trying to figure that out. Like to sometimes it does look like asking to be invited or and because and I know that's very uncomfortable. So like Janice said, like invite somebody, pull somebody
Mhm.
up, pull the people up, you know. So because this
And
season,
remember, like sometimes the restaurants and things are open too. Like, so there are
yeah,
people who you're not alone. Is the
yeah,
of course in mental health the thing that we always want people to know. Like anything that you're going through, any feeling that you're having, like it's not the first time that this feeling has been felt.
ever.
So if you feel like you are going to be by yourself and you don't want to go to a restaurant, there's someone serving, there's someone cooking, there's someone at the bartending wherever who are by themselves too, or maybe they picked up this shift because they don't want to be with their family or whatever.
Yeah.
You can go make a friend.
Yeah.
So I really encourage you not to isolate or sit in the house being hungry and woe is me.
Mhm.
Create a new memory. Go make a new friend, even if it's just for 2 hours. Go get some food. I'm sure maybe with the holiday shutdown and everything, restaurants, not holidays, the government shut down. Restaurants might be giving out different food or discounts and stuff like that because they've been doing a lot of great things. The
Yeah.
communities, just showing up for each other. So really take advantage of that. And go try your best to enjoy the holidays, even if it's not a great one. Make it better than last year, or
Or you can make
just
it a
do a new experience to learn. Is it something that you like that can be your new ritual or your new holiday, plan?
yeah. And I feel like it can be a great one though. Like it just I feel like you get to define it. That's the biggest part because you get to define it. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. Like if it is, and sometimes it might be something solo. Like it might look like that, but I think you get to define it, and that's the biggest thing. We cannot be focused on what society and Instagram and all these things have to say. Don't get me wrong. I love to see the matching pajamas, but if that's not your ministry, it's just not your turn yet. If if not your turn, it's not your turn. You know, so
Yeah. And I think
that's
even remembering that. So remembering that the movies, they're movies. They're fake. All of them. Every last one. It's
every
fake.
single last
Like
one.
it was created and directed to bring these feelings and all the things, but
Right.
it's not real. Some of these holiday pictures that you see on social media, they're
I know.
fake too. Like it's not one big happy family. But they're taking the picture because it's the routine.
Mhm.
So, don't get too caught up in the things that you see and remember it's just a picture, it's just a movie. It does not tell the whole story. So do not compare your whole story to only a part of this story that you see.
Yeah. Also, the part of the story that was orchestrated to look a certain way. So, because I'm telling you, some of them live pictures that we took during the family, it's like, oh my God, what are you doing? You're blinking. What are you doing? Like it's just we're just bickering. You know what I mean? But that's the real part of it. But of course, we're not going to put that under the picture on Instagram. But it's just what you see is this much. Is this
Hmm.
much, you know? So that's another part to be conscious of because also what you feel and what you tell somebody is only this much of your own story. So that's another way to think about it too.
Yeah.
So, so for the people who for the family part, like going, one thing that I really do want to touch on that has been coming up in, and of course, it's always going to be a shameless plug. Find you a therapist, find you somebody to talk to, especially if it's around this time. But I think about the people who are getting ready to go to these gatherings and stuff and have to be in contact with like people or a person who has abused them, right? Whether that's physically, verbally, emotionally, sexually, like in whatever way that is, where I'm extremely triggered. And also, I'm surrounded by people who act like it didn't happen, right? That, from what we said in the very beginning, as far as making a choice, but then I just think about people who, I don't want to say they don't have a choice, but they don't know how to make that choice, right? Like, and just feel like they have to go because it's family, because it's Christmas, because it's Thanksgiving. And you don't. This may be the time where, I mean, and I'm being so for real. Like I was telling Janice before that there was a Thanksgiving that I got a consultation like email on Thanksgiving Day, like literally on that day where somebody was like, yeah, I need to talk to somebody right now, So like it's again making the decision for yourself, but I do want to empower people by saying like you don't have to do anything. If you are being surrounded by people that just that uncle or aunt or whoever it is that they know is inappropriate and has had inappropriate behavior in the past and it's always been shoved under the rug, and I'm at a point where I'm just not going to deal with it, then don't. But that's the part where you have to make the decision for yourself and figure out what healing looks like for you. Healing, I don't feel like healing is ever going and ignoring and acting like it didn't happen. Like I'm just not sure that's suppression, but I don't know how much you get out of that as far as like steps forward for healing.
Yeah, I think you bring up a good point. But you make me think about the people who can't not go.
Yeah.
Because maybe this is the only way they're going to eat today. They can't afford to go to a restaurant or don't have the means to go to a restaurant, or the uncle is coming to my house.
That part too.
So I can't escape it. So for those people, I think for the one like when you got to eat, maybe it's not that you stay over there all day. You go for an hour. If dinner is at 4, you go at 3:55, right. Say grace, you eat, and you out of there by 4:45.
Right.
For those that they come into your house, you go downstairs to pray, get your plate, and you remove yourself. So I think the key is just always having a game plan, not to go into uncomfortable or triggering situations without a plan. So understanding that you will be triggered, it will be hard, it will be uncomfortable, but these are the things that you're going to do to kind of help you weather it. So you're going to have a plan to remove yourself by going upstairs or going in a room or going in the backyard, staying away from that person, or having a time period. So when you pull up in the driveway, you put your timer on and it's counting down 45 minutes. That's the most I think I could do. And when this thing beat, oh, it's an emergency, my toilet is overflowing. You don't even got lies. I gotta go.
Go
out of there.
That's it.
So having a plan. Don't go in unprepared for those people who have to go.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it too. Because that's why I hesitated, because I'm like, there are some people that can't just be like, I'm not going. There are some people that they just can't do that. But I also want to add, just in general, like what you were saying, a trigger, like what triggers are. Triggers, you as the individual, you have to figure out what triggers you, but triggers make you feel like whatever thing happened is happening right now, and it's not. But the way that the brain works is and I believe I explained this before, but it's okay, we're going to talk about it again. When you're triggered by something, so the example I always use, if you're getting chased by a dog, if you get chased by a dog, you never know you can run so fast. The next time you see a dog, even if you are outside the window, it's on TV or whatever, you start feeling anxious because your brain is like, well, the last time this happened, I had to pump adrenaline through you. Your heart had to race, your blood vessels constricted, and we don't even remember how we got away because I turned that part of your brain off. The brain is saying I turned that part of your brain off so I can protect you. So, and that's what happens. If you come across somebody, come across your abuser, come across a situation, you will go into a feeling like this is happening to me again. And it's not. So that is why it is important to have, like we always talk about, certain skills. If it's that I'm getting up and I'm praying every morning, I'm doing my affirmations, I have whatever routines that I have going on, I'm practicing mindfulness, and I have my escape plan. So that when I'm going in and my heart palpitates, because more than likely it will, because I've already had to prepare myself. So it's not like I don't know what's about to happen, that I just don't go into, a mode to where I don't feel like I can control myself, because I maybe couldn't control what was happening as to why I'm triggered. So I think that's just like an important thing to understand, that triggering, like being triggered will literally, that's why it's called being triggered, because it makes you feel like you're right back where that situation happened, or where I felt like I was helpless or I couldn't do anything about it. And it's it's a protective mechanism, but it also is not the full truth. So in these calm times, in the times where you're preparing, that's when you remind yourself of the whole truth, that I didn't know any better then. This is what I know now, even if it's just that. Even if it's just that. So that's just a little.
Yeah. And for those who maybe have been going through, I think that's the thing about therapy too. Sometimes we think we have the skill until we need the skill. So for those who have been going to therapy, you've been learning the breathing skills, you've been learning, the replacing the thoughts, everything. But then you go to Thanksgiving dinner and you smell that cologne and you remember that's what he smells like, and your brain takes you back like it's happening. That's when you put in that's when it's time to put in those skills, the deep breathing and calming yourself down, the thoughts and stuff like that. But also it will be helpful if you have like your sister, your cousin, someone that's there, and you could text them like, we need to go to the bathroom, I need you to help me put these skills into place. Because again, it's a test, like anything else. You learn the skills, but then when it's happening is when it's time to see if it's going to work or if you're able to use them. So also see if you could have one of your family members that you're close with there, even if you bring a friend with you, that can help you put those skills into place if you have to go.
Yeah, because and that happens a lot too. Just talking to people in therapy, like we'll be talking about something for a long time, and then something will happen, and they'll be like, "Oh, I thought I was over it. I thought I was doing better." Who said you're not? First of all, you're human. So that's the first part where we're not putting that judgment on ourselves. You put the judgment on yourself, it's already over before it starts. So like you're human, you're going to react, which is why I make such a big stink about saying like how the body reacts, because nobody's taught that. I really don't feel like you're taught it until you go to school for what we went to school for, right? Like your body has a natural way of protecting you. And sometimes that might feel really inconvenient. It might feel really inconvenient because, hey, why is my heart racing right now? You know what I mean? But that is where, again, the mindfulness and practice comes in so that I can figure out what I need. You have to also, part of this, all of healing, therapy, all the stuff we're talking about is figuring out what you need. And sometimes you don't know what you need until literally that moment you need it. But then when you figure it out, then you get to practice. So, and it's like Janice is saying, if it's somebody you need to talk to or have a code word or something, just you have that.
And just reminding yourself like you are in control. I think sometimes we think like, does my brain control me or do I control my brain? Like Kiana said, your brain is going to do these things, but it's up to you to just like go down the rabbit hole with it or remind yourself like, hey, it's okay. I'm safe. I'm okay. It's not going to happen again. I'm in a safe place. My husband is here. My brother is here. Whoever, we've talked about it. They're like, it's not happening right now. I'm okay. Let's take some deep breaths and calm myself down. Let's change the thought pattern that's about to start spiraling and just regain control of the situation because your body is going to react.
Yeah. And I also want to encourage too, like, because also when you were talking just now, what I thought about is like the people who haven't told anybody, like that just go every year. And then maybe this is the year where it's just like, I just can't because like all this other stuff we talked about going on. But for those people, I would really encourage you to get a therapist. I would really encourage you to like talk to somebody and really like, you're not supposed to deal with things by yourself in life. Like you're just not supposed to. So like we were created for fellowship. So, and again, like we're saying, some of the things or the family that we were led into, that may not be where we find our fellowship. But and that's okay. That's okay. It's not, it doesn't always look like that for everybody. So, but for those who haven't and are going into like, just thinking about all of the things that are going on with the shutdown and this and that, however it might be affecting you. And then now I'm thinking about having to go around these people that I've never told anything happened, but that person is still around here at kikiing and stuff. Yeah, that might, it's still doing all of the skills and stuff we're talking about. But if you don't have somebody, then definitely, of course you do your best and you try to speak up because you can't heal what you don't talk about. If you keep it to yourself, it's never going to go anywhere. You're just going to be constantly being triggered. No matter how much you listen to us talk about this or that or whatever, you have to release it in some kind of way.
I have a question for you. So I just thought about something. So for those people who are on the other side, I guess, so they've been through something traumatic. They've healed. They're forgiven. All of the things. And now they're coming around this person, but whether, the family, like they didn't believe them or all the things now, and they're trying to figure out, how do I act? Because if I smile and say hi, then maybe the family will believe like, oh, then he didn't do it, or you laughed at his joke, so he didn't do it because now you're cool with him. But it's not that you're cool with him, but you have forgiven and moved on, but you're trying not to send mixed signals, or like I guess just that, like, how do you navigate that? Like, I've healed, I've forgiven, I'm past it, but does that mean, but how do I act now? Do I have to be cordial? If I want to be cordial, what message should I care? What message that sends to other people? If I just don't want to be, this victim, I have to run from every room, or like, I don't want to operate like that. I just want to go and enjoy myself.
Yeah.
What would you say for that person?
But I think it would be just that. It would be that I'm going to go and enjoy myself. And especially if it's a situation where I've healed and I am making the choice to continue to be around my family that didn't believe me, in order for me to heal, I had to not think about what they said. So I'm not going to start now. I'm not going to start now. So I'm going to make the decision to, if I want to say, that's it. If we want to do a group picture and I don't want to be in it, then I won't. I'll take it for y'all. You know what I mean? But if I could, then I will. But make sure he on the end, and I could just cut him out before I post it to my social media or whatever. But it's just the part where you act in the way that your healing has led you. That's what I'll say, because and I know, especially, we can only speak for Black Caribbean families. So we get that, like, well, it's just like the assumptions and things like that, where it's like, well, like you said, well, oh, well, you spoke or you hugged him and, oh, I thought this was a prop. That maybe I need to evaluate if I really actually do need to be around these people at all. You know what I mean? And again, that's where it goes back to like figuring it out for myself. Like, what does it mean to me? Does the opinions outweigh the part where I know when I look back on my life, I can say, this is how I spent my time. And then if this is how I spent my time, did I enjoy it? Or did I have to go in with a full armor on? So then that's where I kind of get to decide. Because I wonder, I don't know, because I feel like if I heal, do I care? I feel like a lot of times, like, and I know I can speak for myself, like, if I've healed from something, I really don't care what anybody else has to say about it. I mean, generally, I don't care what people have to say. But when I've truly healed from something, like, because you weren't there with me in my thoughts, in my sadness, when I was talking about something literally into the ground, you know what I mean? Like, for the person that if I'm healed and now I can coexist in the same spot with you, do I care what anyone else has to say? Because what does that even mean to whatever it is that I had to go through to get me to this point? So I think that's part of it too. Like, you have to figure out for yourself. What do you think?
No, the same. I think your healing journey is your healing journey. If you are in a place that you could be around that person, then be around that person. But like you said, it's not about what other people think. So are you operating for you and what's best for you? Or, if they think it happened, if they think it didn't happen, how does that impact you? Like, how important is that in the grand scheme of things for you? Like you said, they weren't there. You know what happened. You've dealt with what happened. You've healed from it. Now you're trying to move on from it. You're trying to figure out what life looks like after. And if you are in a place that you can be around them, y'all could play Uno together, dominoes, whatever. Okay, cool. Figure out what your boundaries are. Hold those boundaries. Also, like, pay attention to how that other person, I guess, engages in that boundary. So I think that's part of it too. Maybe I can't hug you because hugging you is a mixed sign for you to think that everything's okay, or that the behavior was okay and it wasn't. So it is part of that healing process is sometimes figuring out how do we create this relationship or what this dynamic looks like after, but only you can decide that. Right. And you have to decide that for you, not for the person that harmed you or for the people that believed you or didn't believe you.
Yeah, I think that's a really good place to put the energy, instead of like, what is everybody going to think? And again, because I can't control what anybody thinks. So, but what I am focused on is the message that I'm sending to the person. So no, I'm not, again, that might be more than enough for me. Oh, you can't give a hug. And now I'm talking to Auntie over here. Like, it's just because people are going to try you. They are. That is what human beings do. Like I think a lot of times people think that the behavior stops in childhood when children want to show you, look at me, mom, look what I can do. And they're just literally hopping on one foot and they're not even really doing it good. They want to show you that 50,000 times and like push the boundary, and it doesn't really end. It doesn't really end in adulthood. It just looks different. It just looks different in adulthood. But for the one, like if I'm going into a space where I was abusing and he's right at the door and I hug everybody else and I skip him and he has something to say about it, because of course he's going to have something to say about it. Like, because he might be embarrassed or whatever. That's not my problem. My problem is I'm here for everybody but you. So it's not about me worrying about making you feel away or worrying about how you feel. I'm letting you know from the door, you act like I'm not here because I'm acting like you're not here. And then I'm going in to greet everybody else, because that is where I am in my healing. And if I can hug them, that's up to you. That's up to you. So I don't think it's about worried about what message I'm sending to everybody, but what message I'm sending to this person so that they know what my boundaries are. Because for whatever reason that we're in this place, I didn't have the boundaries before. Maybe it's because I was a child, or maybe I didn't know any better, but I know better now. So
yeah. And I think also it makes me think about like the trust piece. Like, I'm not around you now at this dinner table because I trust you, but because I've regained my trust in myself, that I know when to leave, or I know when I need to excuse myself. I know when my boundaries are being crossed, and I know when it's an issue that I need, like, I know for me. Like, it's not because now I trust you and, I believe you're going to do the right thing. Like, no. Yeah. But I have learned different things about me, and I've accepted who you are. And now I'm just going to navigate based on the new information that I had.
And that's a really good point, because that's what we talked about last episode with the dimensions, right? Like, one of those dimensions is trust. So if something happens to me, I've already been to that place where I felt like I could not trust myself because I let this, right? That's the language of the distorted thought pattern of it, where I let this happen, versus now I understand I didn't let anything happen. It was not my fault, but you won't get the chance again, right? Like, I can coexist with you in a space and recognize, everything you just said. But definitely, that's definitely one of the big things that is going to go into the decisions that you're making when you're deciding to go or not go, or whatever the case, because it's not about them. You don't have to trust. Please, I would not encourage you to trust them again. It's about you. It's about yourself. Especially, let me rephrase that. I would not encourage you to trust them again if they're not doing anything to regain the trust. If it's that one, and I know we keep saying uncle, it could be anybody, but we always say like the creepy uncle or whatever the case. But if it's that one
creepy auntie.
Or creepy auntie, you know what I'm saying? The ones, I can't have no hug, sure can't. That's it.
And you say that, and it makes me think about kids too. Like, yes. I am,
yes,
I guess, like in the Caribbean, like they're like, oh, you didn't give me a hug, I'm not going to give you any candy. My child don't want to hug you, so she will not hug you, or you will not make her hug you. Period. Do not kiss her. She's not sitting on your lap. Like, none of it.
That's like, it.
If she don't want to talk to you, and that's why I just love my child, because she be like, they're like, oh, give me a hug. She's like, no. So like, and that's what she said. Yeah. Don't try to threaten her or be like, oh, you're being mean. No, she just not wants to hug you. And that is okay. So I also, like, we got to speak up for the kids too. So if you know that that's the creepy auntie or creepy uncle, don't send your kid over there.
Yeah.
Like, no, you're not going to be in the basement with all the kids.
Yeah.
And I don't care if your mom or your grandma, whoever is there, is like, oh, he's fine. No, he's not. He will not be down there with my child. Period. Would you like some cupcakes? Like, we're going to keep it moving.
Keeping it moving, exactly. Like, no.
But and I think that's part of it too, especially like for the younger people. Like, we're not kids anymore. So it is kind of uncomfortable, like the holiday time, because they still expect you to be like the kids at the kids' table and not say much. But no, when it comes to my kid, I got a lot to say, Pooh. Okay. And I'm going to say it, and then I'm going to hand you a cupcake, because it's no beef. Right. But we're going to be very clear on what's happening and what's not happening.
Yeah, for sure. That's a big thing, man. I hate to see that. I hate to see, like, even, I don't know, like, even with, so, okay, I'm not an only child, and I didn't really have a problem sharing growing up. I don't know. But I see, like, a lot of, like, our little cousins and stuff, like, they're only children, and they'll have stuff, and then, like, the adults will be like, oh, you have to share. And I'd be like, why? Like, I always wondered that. Like, well, you have to do this, or you have to give No, they don't. If
And
they're
that's why I teach my child too. Like, she
to.
said no. It's
Yeah.
her. So she can say no. So you need to find someone else to play with.
That's it. That's it.
It's hers. It's not yours. You can't force her to do what she wants, or him, whoever. You can't force the child to play with you. They don't want to play with you right now. You
Yeah.
can come play with me. You can play with somebody else. You can play with something else.
Mhm.
But we have to learn to respect people and
Yeah.
teach kids to respect each other.
And that's what I was going to say, because this, I feel like it teeters on the line of like rudeness, but it doesn't. But because, you know, for Caribbean people, if you know means disrespect, and that's not true. That's not true. Like, just because I disagree with you doesn't mean that I'm disrespecting you. We can have two things can be true at once. I can absolutely disagree with you and love you to death. Like you said, do you want a cupcake? Like, we're moving on, you know? So, but it's just, when it comes to the kids, I really hate to see it where it's like, oh, they coming into a room and speaking. Yes, that's where the line is drawn. They say you can say hello because you can speak to anybody. That's it. You don't have, if you don't want to hug them, if you don't want to sit on their lap or whatever the case, but you come into a room that's just common decency to speak, fine. But past that, they don't have to hug. They don't have to, oh, we're not going to give you. No, that's how I don't teach my child that. I don't bribe them with, at least not for physical touch. It might be to like go in their bed or something, but not for anything that has to do with physical touch, because you create that environment from that age. From the time when a child can communicate with you and tell you no, that's what they're learning is okay. So no, we don't accept that. So
yeah, and I think even like, because it's teaching them like how I feel doesn't matter.
yes.
Like, if someone's giving me something else or somebody's giving me something, then, you know, I should just do it regardless of how I feel. Like, no, I want you to know how you feel and be able to articulate that and stand on it. If you don't want to give this person a hug, that's okay. If you don't want to play with this person right now, that's okay. I will say, like, it is a holiday, you know, they came over to play with you. So you can have 5 minutes to yourself, but then let's try to play with everybody, because it is a birthday party. It is a gathering. But as adults, like, we get overstimulated sometimes. We do need a break sometimes. So we have to teach them that it's okay. Like, I'm not going to force you to be in this person's face and like play with them, because then also, what is that like for the other child? Like, I know you don't want to play with me. So now you're here playing with me with an attitude. Like, it's not fun. Like, so we have to teach them, like, your feelings and your emotions, they matter.
They do. They do. And I think part of this too goes into like knowing your child. Because when I used to work with kids, and mostly because when I was working with kids, it was mostly like their parents, because, you know, I don't work with kids anymore. But the parents would be like concerned. A lot of parents would be concerned for their children being on the spectrum because they don't want to always socially interact with other kids. And it's like, when I talk to the kid about it, like, you know, getting ready to do all type of assessments and everything, they're just like, I just don't feel like it. Like, they're not anxiety stricken. They're not, you know, like being hypervigilant or whatever the case. They just don't feel like it. And then it's like, go back and have the conversation with the parent. And it's like, they never asked. You just assume that this is what a child should be doing. You have to know your child. So like, you just, and also understanding that like your child will change. Like, let me tell you. So, you know, my godson, right? Like, he used to be the shyest thing. We went out to an event for Halloween, and he was like, just, there's so many people that he was just dancing. Like, he's coming into his own personality and stuff. Like, and imagine if I just thought about him as like a little kid who was just shy and crying all the time, like, because that's just, but that it's like, we also have to decide what normative is. But there was music on and he was like dancing, and I was just like, my babies get so big. Like, he's just growing into his own personality, but he changes. Like, people, just like you change, and you can change your hair, your whatever, your makeup, the things, your mood. It's the same for kids. They just don't always know how to communicate it because they don't have the language. But if you know your child, then you'll be able to stand up for them instead of falling into whatever, oh, grandma said, give me a kiss. You don't have to. And maybe I don't want to right now because you're demanding me, and I feel, you know, like all these eyes on me. Like,
yes, because that's the other part. Y'all make things awkward. Like, everyone's staring, like, oh my God, and trying to touch me. Like, you're at a zoo or something. Like, imagine you're like this small. Everyone is huge, and they're poking you, they're hugging you, they're trying to kiss you, they're trying to play with you, they're trying to feed you stuff. Like, leave me alone.
Listen,
and that's how my daughter is. Like, when y'all first met, she was not feeling you. They're like, oh, that's your cousin. No, it's not.
Yep.
Now,
That's the right one.
cousin, is that my cousin? Like
Yep.
now she
And
go
I let
after you.
her have
But
it.
it
I let
takes
her, okay, yeah,
time.
but I let her have it because we were in an environment with a bunch of people, and I felt like it's like, but and I understood it because everybody hadn't seen her in a long time or whatever the case. So then it was like, "What's your name? What's your mom's name? What's your dad's name? What's your grandma's name?" And it was at one point I was like, "Guys, she knows." Like, yes, you have to think about like, okay, as an adult, like, oh, it's so cute to hear it, but she gets it, y'all. She knows. She knows all the things, and it's because it was annoying me, so I couldn't imagine for her. I'm like, how many times do I ask this child what her mom name is? She knows it. So
Yeah.
it's just like those little things, and remembering like children get overstimulated too. Children get annoyed too. Imagine, like, I mean, we were all kids at one point, but again, when adulthood, we forget that we couldn't always do what we wanted to do. So know your kids, protect them, speak for them in this holiday season with the family. Okay.
Yeah. I think we've covered
Yeah.
everything for the most part, or as much as possible. If we
Yeah.
missed anything, please feel free to DM us, in a comment, or email, anything.
Yes.
But how do we, like, now let's kind of transition or navigate into those people who have maybe the better relationships with their families, but there's a family member who's not going to be there this year because of death and just the grieving process through or during the holiday season.
Yeah. So grief is, oh man, I don't even know where to start with grief because it's so different for everybody. And what I will say is, like, for anybody like who is coming into therapy, when we talk about grief, the first thing, like, people want to know, like, well, how do I deal? And that's a really hard answer because there's no one specific way to know how to deal with it. You have to figure out for you. So what I do is, like, I'll talk to, and what I encourage people to do is think of, like, maybe not necessarily how you celebrated things with that person, but how you remember them. And not to be like bound by like what you think that person would want besides seeing you happy, right? Because I feel like I've gotten into that conversation a lot recently. This is like kind of random, but just like people being driven by the thoughts of what a person who has passed, what they would want when it's not what they want, when it doesn't fit into like even what they're like, how they're healing. So if it's, tying right into what we're talking about, if I am uncomfortable going around and I've made a decision, but the person that I would really go for isn't here, they would want me to go, and I'm completely uncomfortable with it, I'm not doing it. Like, we can't be caught up in the thoughts of what the person would want you to be comfortable. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they would want you to be able to grieve the way that you have decided for yourself to do it. But again, it's about deciding for yourself. So it's those things as well, to not be like too driven by what you think a person would have wanted for you, besides again seeing you happy. But then also, like Janice was saying in the very beginning, is creating something new, because it's going to be an adjustment. It's going to be an adjustment. But you also have I don't know if that's the right word to use. Like, you have the right to do that, to like create this new thing and like figure out what. I have a client who her father passed away last year, and it was close to Christmas, and they did like a Christmas tree of him, and like that was really fun for them. Yeah, like that was like so cool. It was like the dad tree, where they like put a picture of him at the star, and as the star, and they decorated the tree with all of his favorite things. Like, and that's why I say, like, I don't have one specific recommendation, because everybody's thing is so different. For some people, if you're finding it too painful, then that's okay too. That's okay too. Then I might need a distraction until I can really feel, and we're not gonna suppress it for too long. But I might need a distraction that's going to make me until I feel strong enough to, include the memory of the person. But it is including the memory of the person in a way that works for you, because it's different for everybody.
Yeah, I think even like you said, like when we spoke earlier, I think the big part is about being intentional. So we know it's going to be different because this whole person, this whole smile, this whole energy, this vibe, this personality is not here.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we prepare for that? Like you said, are we in a place that we can do something to remember them or to talk about it? Like, I think one of the hard things, or one of the things that we don't do is like plan for these things. Like
Yeah.
we try to pretend like it's just not going to happen or like it's not going to be different. And I feel like that's such a disservice for our mental health and everyone, experiencing it. So my thing would really be to be intentional.
Yeah.
My family, like we're all over the place. So some people are here in the DMV, some people Florida, some people Atlanta, some still in the Virgin Islands. But for the last couple of years, we had been intentional about like doing Zoom chats. So,
Mhm.
Thanksgiving, I'll send out a Zoom link and everybody will hop on.
Yeah.
And maybe like this year, one of my father's uncles passed away in January. So maybe this year, like we'll go around and we'll say like our favorite memory of them or like how that person shows up now in adulthood for us. Like, I think about them when I do this, and not make it seem like it doesn't matter or like those feelings aren't there or just try to sweep it under the rug. So my thing would like be to like really be intentional. I think the Zoom calls work. Even when we were talking about the Thanksgiving dinner, maybe there are some people that you want to see, but you still don't want to physically go. Like
Yeah.
we go on FaceTime. Like we have made technology is great.
It
Like
is.
we have to use it.
Mhm.
There's a cousin that you want to see, but you don't want to see their mother. Like FaceTime and be like, okay, who's over there? Like, go show me this person. Hey, like you just smile away maybe at that one, and you keep it going.
Mhm.
But I would really say to just be intentional. I think for my family specifically, like the calls, the Zoom calls, the time, like my father, like they talk about his grandmother. I never met her, but they'll
Yeah.
talk about his grandmother. One of his cousins passed. They talk about him and their
Mhm.
favorite memory or experience with that person. And it sometimes they do get sad and they do cry, but
Yeah.
the general feeling is just happiness because you're remembering the good times. So you
Mhm.
might cry, but you're also laughing and smiling and just going down memory lane and thinking
I,
about the positive things versus just like the void of them not being here.
that's what I was going to add to is just the part where you might cry. You probably will. And that's okay. Like it is okay. It's okay. But just allowing that emotion to pass and then being able to think of the funny time or the thing that, I mean, sometimes like we get together and we talk about the same memories like we never heard it before. You know what I mean? It's carrying that on. It's carrying on that same thing. So, but I do agree 100% in planning for it. I remember when my grandmother passed away when I think I was like 13 or 14. And Thanksgiving is my mom's, she loves Thanksgiving, okay? And I just remember the year that like after, because she had passed that February, but I remember that November. So like I remember her crying at the dinner table and just having like an overall like just this sadness. Like, it's like, oh, it's okay, mom, it's okay, like don't cry and stuff like that. But I just wonder what it would have looked like. And there was also other things going on as to why it was so little of us at the time. But again, even still, like I remember like thinking of it now as an adult, like I just wonder what that would have looked like if we planned for it. If we would have said like, maybe you don't cook this year. Maybe we just go, I don't know. Like maybe we do our vacation this year. Maybe we come to Florida. Like we had family down here. Like maybe we do, this is when I still living in New York, but like maybe we just do something different that day, like just so that you're not cooking and thinking about that your mom isn't here and that you didn't, that she wasn't helping you, like cook or getting recipes from her or whatever that might look like, so. But yeah, the planning for it is definitely, and be very clear, people, you can only plan for so much. You can only plan for so much. But if it's one thing that I do, like I tell people, like, well, how do I, if it's anniversaries or anything like that, how do I plan for that? I'm like, you do it as best as you can. I also do not believe in like deciding how you're going to be. That is a no-no. I think that people do that, like, oh, I just know I'm gonna be a mess. Well, you just decided that. So if when your brain just doesn't give you any coping skills or anything like that, or you can't think of anything, that's why you've already decided it. So it's not, oh, I know I'm gonna be a mess. It's that might be hard for me. This is what I'm gonna do instead. This is what I'm gonna give a try to. Like I've told people, I'm like, if you know that's what it is, you need to call off work. You need to, if you want to go sit at the beach all day and do that because that's what something that y'all did, and I just want to sit on the beach and cry. If I want to, or if I don't, if I want to do the favorite thing that I used to do with them or something that they used to enjoy, but it's whatever. There's no one way to do it. I just would not recommend deciding what I'm gonna be like. Oh, I know I'm gonna be a mess. I know I'm not gonna be able to handle that. You don't know what you can handle. You
Yeah.
have no idea.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that or like reiterated that. Like it's not that everything's going to be planned. But I think it's also like just being aware of everything that from what you could think of, like everything that can happen. So like if you do cry, what's the plan? So like even with your mom, like that's okay. She's crying at the dinner table. Like let's sit in this place and cry. Like let's let it out. Like let's just have room for everything. Like well, this is not the Thanksgiving that we're going to be in front of people or we going all over the place. We're going to be calm because we don't know what emotions might come. And if
Right.
we're crying right now, like let's give her the space to cry. If she wants to talk about it, like let's give her the space to do that. Because I think that's the hard part of when we aren't intentional. Like if we were to say, okay, we're going to start this dinner with talking about your mom. So now, like, let's break down and like let's just get it out. I
Yeah.
think the holding on to it and like, oh, I'm trying not to, I'm trying to be strong. Like, I think about it like as like when we're younger and we're trying to like get all the groceries in the house and like we're holding on to
Hold
all
on
this
to that.
stuff, like and everything. But like one bag is ripping and everything, so like you're just falling apart. But sometimes you have to stop and like just like let go of all of it and kind of like, okay, I'm gonna put this on this arm and like just get yourself together. So like don't hold it all in. Like you gotta stop sometimes and just let it all out, let go of everything and then regroup is my thing. So in those days, giving yourself the space to release it all and regroup.
Agreed 100%. It's not, listen, we know the things that we talk about here is not easy. And, we say it very easily because we obviously know what we're talking about and stuff, but it's not easy, but it's trying. It's just trying. It's a matter of trying. And it's a matter of trying and possibly, for lack of a better term, failing only, and not even failing because it didn't go the way you wanted to, but for it not to go exactly how you wanted to and then trying again. But when I try again, I figure out, okay, this is why this didn't go well this time. This is what I can do this time. And then when it happens again, and you just keep doing it. You just keep doing it because eventually it won't be in hindsight, it'll be beforehand.
Yeah, and then just also like being your real self. Like I think sometimes even with the grief and grief during holidays, part of it is like, oh, I don't want to cry because I don't want to trigger that person, or I don't want like my crying and them seeing me sad to make somebody else sad.
You don't have
But
control.
like you have to cry, like you have to let it out, like you have to be authentic and deal with your real emotions.
Yeah.
So whether that looks like hey, I'm giving you a heads up, like I'm coming to Thanksgiving dinner, but I'm struggling with this, so I might cry. So just giving you a heads up, you might see me fall out on the floor, like because I am struggling with this.
Yeah.
So that person can know. But then also like so you could decide like, okay, I might pull away. I might go upstairs in one of the bedrooms if I'm having a moment. Don't come looking for me, or like come if I'm in there after 10 minutes, then you come looking for me. But like it is going to be hard. It is going to be different. Like create that space to cry. It is okay to cry. Do not try to, hold it all in and all those things. Like you can't control, the other person, but you have to deal with your emotions.
Yes. Yep. You can't carry everybody's. It's just that carrying everybody's emotions is the equivalent to doing something based on what somebody thinks. I don't know about y'all, but I do not read minds. Okay. I can read energy, but I cannot read it. You can't read people's minds. Like you don't know what they're thinking. And also whatever they're thinking, they may not have all the information for whatever their opinion they're putting forth. So again, all of that is the reason to focus on center self. Like you have to focus on yourself. So
yeah, I think about it because I remember when my grandfather died. I went home for Carnival. And he told me to come home for Carnival. It was so crazy. He told me to come home for Carnival. He was paying for my flight and everything. I go down there and he died while I'm down there. I'm like, what? But we're in the hospital room. He's laying there, of course. And my father's there, and he's like, how are you so strong right now? And in my mind at that time, it was like, I don't want him to see me sad because like this is you. Like you have to grieve your dad, not try to grieve your dad while taking care of me. So I had to find the balance of like crying. Like I cried, but I made sure I got it all out. And
Yeah.
because I got it all out, I was able to be stronger
Correct.
versus trying to hold it all in and get through
Yeah.
the day. So he was able to see me strong because I let it go and I broke down and got my good cry out. And then was able to move forward.
Yeah.
So I do want to again just reiterate that, like, trying to hold it all together for people doesn't work, but when you like take the time to deal with your emotions, then you're able to be stronger for somebody else or to support someone else through what they're going through.
The other thing I want to add to that too is the part where you said about the crying. I don't know if people have like experienced this, but like there is a way for you to cry until you can't cry anymore. And I don't know, like when I say that, I mean it. Like I don't even remember, I don't remember what I was crying about, but I remember I cried and I literally was like, and like I had nothing left. I had nothing left in me. Like I was like, wow, I really can't cry about this anymore. So that is possible. Like it is, because each time you cry, crying is a release. Talking and all these other coping skills and stuff is a release, but crying is also a release. Because again, when we talk about letting things pass, that's what we're talking about as well. Like being able to release it so that more sadness could come up and until there's no more sadness that can come up. And now I can think about other things consciously, like what I need or memories or whatever other creative ways that I want to deal with my grief. Because just because I have that time where I cry and I don't cry anymore doesn't mean that I won't have another time like that. But at least for now, that's all I can think about.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I definitely, even now, like it was a process to like be comfortable crying and stuff like that. But now I could sense it. I'm like, I need a good cry. Like I need a good cry. And like you just feel so much lighter after, like, because it's just, you're just trying to hold on to too much and you just need to like stop and reset, like let it all out. And then, all right, let's pick these bags up and get these groceries in the house.
Because
like,
a lot of
let's
times
get back on a mission.
Yeah, because a lot of times too, a lot of like, even it's not just sadness that turns into, I mean, it's not just sadness that turns into crying. It's anger. Sometimes it's being overwhelmed sometimes. And all of that, you keep suppressing it and doing all this, it's not going to end well. But it is, when you suppress it, it turns into sadness. So then when you have that increasing need to like cry and let it out, that's where it's coming from. So it's remembering that and allowing yourself to cry, letting yourself cry. Nobody has to know. And honestly, listen, best advice, wait until you're about to go to bed. You will never have the best sleep in your life. Like that is the best. Oh my, to cry yourself to sleep, like to really get it out. Like you wake up feeling so, oh wow, good morning. Like it's literally like rinsing out a sponge. So
yeah, for me, like I remember I would cry in the shower and it would just be like, I don't know, I'd be dramatic. So like I would be washing my hair, all the things, and it's like, okay, just all my sins, like everything just being washed down the drain. Like all the bad days, like everything is just going. The tears, the shampoo out my hair, the soap off my body, like it's just like a reset. Like I'm coming out, my hair's clean, my body's clean, my mind is clean and ready. Like I just left it all down the drain. I'm crying in my washcloth, like everything. Like it was my release, my rinse off. Like we back in action now.
Yeah, I don't think that's dramatic. I think you need the symbolic things, like just like even we talk about journaling or whatever coping things, like whatever that thing is for you, that is going to make you like, you know, of course, in a healthy way, like you need to do that. You need to do that. Yeah. So.
All right. Well, I think we covered a lot.
I think we did.
I think we tried to be as inclusive as possible, and give people interventions and skills for all kinds of different situations during this holiday season. But of course, like we mentioned before, if there's anything that we missed that you guys would specifically want us to talk about, please drop it in the comments. You could DM either one of us, send us an email. However, if you see us in the street, maybe say hi or whatever. So yeah, we hope this was as inclusive as possible, and that you all learned some type of skill or something to put in your toolbox to help get you through this holiday season. So now we're going to do our shirts. Kiana, what does your shirt say?
My shirt says progress over perfection. Let me pull it up. Progress over perfection, which is what I was saying earlier about you know, like you try things, you try it, you see how it works. And then if it doesn't work the way I wanted to, I figure out what I should have done or shouldn't have done and try it again. Because it's not, none of what we talk about is about things being perfect. Even when we talk about our family and like being fortunate and stuff, they're not perfect. We are not, girl. There's no perfection over here. Okay. So perfection is it's impossible and it's unnecessary. Like, what do you need to be perfect for? So yeah, progress over perfection.
I know I don't want to make this video too long, but I do want to add to that. Like, when we say that we have great holidays, like, it's not because our family is perfect. It's not because everyone is mentally sane. It's not because we don't have any alcoholics or any drug addicts or any just crazy people. Because we have been honest about the people who's about to show up to our house.
Yeah.
We've been honest about what to expect, and we've been honest about our capacity to deal with it. So we know this alcoholic or this idiot is coming over for the next 3 hours. I'm expecting them to act a fool, and I have no control over it. So when they act a fool, I have 3 active fools in me, and then I need to go in another room because I can't deal with a 4th active fool from them. So again, like, everyone has issues. It's really just about how you deal with it. Nothing is perfect. No family is perfect. Nobody is perfect. It's just having the skills and progressing over time to learn how to deal with these things and what you can control and what you can't control. So,
and sticking to your boundaries, you know.
Great shirt.
Yes. Boundaries and progress. Progress over perfection. And also with the boundaries, they change. They are subject to change, and that's okay too. Because again, it's about the progress. It can't always stay the same, because if I'm making progress, my boundaries are going to change with me. So what does your shirt say?
So my shirt says, I am powerful, kind, confident, beautiful, strong, capable, grateful. I am me. So of course, again, in this holiday season, like, you got to be yourself. You got to understand that you are you. And be confident in that. So you have to be the one that stands up for you, that puts boundaries for you, and not expect anybody else to do the things for you. Also, affirmations matter. The things that you say about yourself, the things that you say to yourself matter. So remind you who you are in this stage, in this day, not who your family or the people at homecoming or Thanksgiving dinner, like, not who they expect you to be. Who are you today? And be that person. The things that we say about ourselves, it just matters so much. I remember this week I was working with a student, and I was like, so who are you? Tell me about you. And the first thing he says is, I'm broken. And it's just like, it's so unfortunate because he's like 19. Just thinking like that's who you are. That's the first thing that you describe yourself as. You might have been broken, but you aren't broken. You might have been hurt or, whatever, but like, we have to be very intentional of the things that we say over ourselves, how we describe ourselves. And if you haven't been doing a good job, I just empower you to, do some affirmations, put 5 things on an index card, get some lipstick, write it on the mirror, whatever, to remind yourself who you are and what you represent.
Even if it's one thing, if you can't think of 5, you think of 1 and you build. Think of 1 and build. Think of 1 and build, so very good. I like that. So, well, thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram. And I will put the handles here. And stay tuned.
Bye.